Which customers do we really want at Pierre Hedary's? This is kind of an offensive question, isn't it? It sounds, a little edgy. Don't worry though, I don't discriminate based on who people are. It's more like how they treat their car. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's kind of a hard question to ask because with our increase in labor rate, my increase in employee salaries, my increase in, workload and trying to get the shop to work properly and everything, I started thinking about what kind of customer, with all the work we've been putting into making the shop a functional shop, I started thinking about what my ideal customer looks like. And so here's some things that I just thought of. Again, this might upset some of you, but if you live in Florida and you want to bring your car to my shop, don't take your car to another shop. If you get an estimate from us, you need to know ahead of time that it's probably going to be the most expensive estimate. But it's going to be the only estimate where we use either genuine Mercedes parts or parts that are actually the same parts that are put in the Mercedes box, like an electro-hydraulic actuator for a 560 SL or a Bosch fuel injector. And if we don't use genuine Mercedes parts, we're going to tell you, and we'll tell you why we're not, and we'll tell you what's going in your car instead. For example, I use Febby rocker arms. Why? Because they're made in Germany, and I don't bill anywhere near Mercedes list prices for them. Second of all, I understand that some people get frustrated about shop labor rates. They might see that I'm billing 4 hours for a job they think should take 2 hours. Well, in the real world, I'm happy to bill for 2 hours if that's all it takes me. But if I run into something like a stripped Allen head bolt, or in the case of doing, a motor mount replacement on something like a 300D or 240D, if the bolt that holds the motor mount and the motor mount arm together is stuck in the motor mount and I have to remove the entire arm and replace the arm, that's going to add significantly more labor to the job. But I feel it's always better to quote somebody for more labor and charge them for less labor than it is to quote them for less labor and charge them more. In the past, I always used to try to make people happy by giving them an estimate that they felt was agreeable. Now I realize that if I want to make things easy for myself when the job is all said and done, it's probably better just to give them an estimate that reflects the most terrible, horrible, worst possible scenario, and then give them a better result, both financially, time-wise, and result-wise than they expected. So what I'm saying is hopefully charge or estimate for a conservatively high price, hopefully end up with a lower price, with less time billed, turning the car around faster with a better result than expected. Now, some people just don't understand this. They're always looking for the cheap estimate, rather than the job done right. And that's really the kind of customer that I don't want. The customer that I'm hoping to find, and this is the kind of person that I like working with, is the person that wants and expects the job to be done right with no shortcuts. And with some of these cars, actually doing the job right involves countless hours that don't go on the billing sheet. It involves test driving. What does test driving cost? It costs time and gas. It means pulling over onto the side of the road on I-95 and going underneath the car and listening to a fuel pump to make sure that that fuel pump is actually working. It involves troubleshooting an ignition system after you've been driving the car for an hour and it's nice and hot and it starts to miss with a voltmeter and a hammer sometimes while you're in the driveway of your house at 10 o'clock at night before you've eaten dinner or showered or anything like that, just to make sure that when you ship the car back to whatever part of the United States it's from, it doesn't go back and have a secret hidden ignition miss that's going to drive the customer crazy after they've paid you $15,000 to do a bunch of ancillary stuff but still have a car that misfires. Doesn't work very well for me. I would I would personally hate that. I'd rather pay the shop more money to give me a transparent view of my car and find all the problems rather than just pay a shop to not find all of the problems and then not give me a transparent view of my car and actually not care enough to diagnose and try to resolve all of its issues. In that way, I would look at, well, I should just give you an example. There was a body shop I used to work with, and I'd take them a car and I'd say, fix this piece of rust in the car. Instead of fixing the rust the right way, they just fix it so it looked okay for 6 months to a year. Then I would call them and I'd say, well, what went wrong? How come you didn't fix it right the first time? They were more comfortable with giving me a cheaper price and a lower estimate and making it sort of look okay. But at the end of the day, did I use that body shop in the long run? No, because I got sick of them cutting corners. I viewed the $250, $500, $750 as a waste of money that I gave them because it never actually fixed the problem. I'd rather pay somebody like my friend Austin who might charge, 8 times as much, but I don't view it as a waste of money because I know that in 5 or 10 years it's going to look just as good. So maybe that's the kind of customer I want, the customer that wants the whole package, the customer that understands that the whole package costs money, but also that we're going to stand behind our work, even if it means sometimes flying somewhere or shipping a car to our shop or doing what we have to do to resolve it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tap the bell for notifications. I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Leave your comments below. And enjoy working on your Mercedes Benz because the best mechanic is the one who cares the most. And sometimes that's you. Most of the time, that's you. Okay? All right, we'll see you later.